Good, good morning, Natalie. Good morning, Gabby. How are we doing?
Yes, we're all very well, very much excited for this Wembley final then. And it's kind of a question I've asked already this morning. What do you think is more important, winning this FA Cup, or is it about stopping the treble?
I think it's fairly 50-50. Um, yeah, look, it's a great incentive, isn't it? First and foremost, you're going to win an FA Cup, but if you can stop your city rivals doing a treble as well, it's a definitely a cherry on top. It's a big, huge bonus. But look, I think you have to give credit to both teams because how they've obviously, especially City, how they chased Arsenal down in the league, but maintained their form in the Champions League and the Cups as well. And then obviously Erik Ten Hag and Manchester United winning the League Cup, but obviously getting Champions League again and getting into the FA Cup final too. So it's set up to be a classic, really.
Is it quite frustrating as well, John, when you see Martial injured again? So hamstring, I think it is, so he'll miss the final. Do you look at this squad of players and see that they are missing quite a few players to really challenge Manchester City for the Premier League? And who would you get and what areas next season improve?
Gabby, it's straightforward. You'd go and get Harry Kane, but
Yes.
that's not going to be as straightforward as me just saying it like that. Um, Look, it is frustrating for Martial because I think he's shown glimpses this season again under Ten Hag, who was using them very well. He was becoming a great link player for the team and creating goals and assisting and scoring as well himself. So I'm sure look, as you know yourself, Gabby, you'll have a season where you're picking up injuries.
Yeah.
It's been a frustrating one for him. So, but look, it'll give a chance maybe for Marcus Rashford to be down the middle against Man City, and if Marcus is on form like he has been this season, City defenders will be very much tested on the day.
How do you judge Erik Ten Hag's then first season in charge? When you consider the start they made with those two defeats to Brighton and Brentford, to then have ended top four, already a cup winner with the League Cup in February, possibly a double then that they could achieve with success at Wembley. How do you assess his first season in charge, John?
Yeah, look, it's been very good, Natalie. I think, as I mentioned, to get that cup success, I think there was a time when we were struggling a little bit I think when Chelsea had come along under Mourinho, next thing we got a League Cup with some new players in the squad as well. And I think that's the big thing. The players in the squad now have tasted success. And if you're thinking going into that cup final now on Saturday at Wembley, you've got Casemiro, Eriksen, Bruno Fernandes, Rafael Varane, and Marcus Rashford. If they perform, United will have plenty of ammunition to damage Man City. Also being very respectful of what Man City have to damage you too.
I think as well, John, finals are quite tight, aren't they? You know, at Wembley, if Manchester United get the first goal, something to hold on to, playing a counter-attack. They've got every chance with Sancho, Anthony if he's fit, and then Marcus Rashford. And also want to ask you about Mason Mount. There's talk that that's a transfer that's done. Is he a player that you'd like at Manchester United?
Yeah, look, he's definitely he's shown, hasn't he? He's shown over the last few years in the Premier League and in Europe as well the quality he possesses. And if you think about obviously how he's performed for England too, he's definitely a player you'd be looking at. And if they can get business like that done early, it's a fantastic addition, and he will add to the goals in terms of creating and scoring himself too. So if that is a done deal, it's a great bit of business early because look, Chelsea have nearly three squads, and there'll be plenty of players leaving and coming and going from Chelsea in the summer as well.
You already mentioned the midfield of Manchester United with Casemiro. You said Eriksen. You've also adding in Bruno Fernandes. Do you expect if Mount comes in that he would be a regular starter?
I think he'd hope to be, but that's the beauty of challenging for all the major honours. You need that really competitive squad, and if that's an area where I think the big thing is you have to trust the manager, Ten Hag, and obviously I heard him mention recently he's going to have a big part to play in the recruitment, like he has done in the sense of with Anthony, with Martinez. You look at those two coming in; they were obviously his signings as such. So you're hoping that he's got his eye on it, and he knows what he wants and what he needs to get back challenging at the top, really at the top of the table, and back in the Champions League as well.
What do you think, John, quickly on the centre-half situation at Manchester United? Martinez and Varane, first choice, but Varane does have his injury problems. Next season, playing in the Champions League, high-quality teams you're playing against. Harry Maguire, even Martinez and Varane have been out. He's still not starting. You know, it can be Lindelof and Shaw before him. It's obviously that Harry Maguire will need to leave, but Manchester United definitely could do with one, but at least two centre-halves, couldn't they?
Yeah, look, you definitely look a bit. I think the big surprise, not a surprise because I know what a quality player he is, but when the manager moved Luke Shaw in to centre back, that was obviously a really good move, and it showed another strength to Luke Shaw's bow that he could do that and be very competitive. But as you mentioned, and you have to give a bit of credit to Lindelof too. He's really performed when he's had to this season. When the pressure was on him, he's been an outstanding performer the last kind of few months of the season. But look, it could be needed. It could be, as obviously Harry's got picked for England. He could have those games for England in the summer where he performs again and creates. And who knows what happens in pre-season? He could really knuckle down and say no, and stay and fight for his place, which I'm sure he's doing at the minute. He's wanting to fight and stay at Manchester United. And if that doesn't happen, I'm sure there'll be plenty of clubs who want to take Harry Maguire.
And just lastly, John, it's a busy couple of weeks ahead for you with the Republic of Ireland in action in qualifying, Greece away, followed by Gibraltar. What are you expecting from those? It's a tough group that you're in, of course, for the Euro qualifiers.
Yeah, look, we're really looking forward to it. We had a camp there down in Bristol City last week for a few days with some of the players from the Championship, and obviously the Premier League has just finished now, and we're heading over to Turkey for a camp before we play Greece in Athens. And look, I know the Greece manager Gus Poyet. He's a very, very good manager. It'll be tough out in Greece, but I think with the squad of players we have now, we'll be hoping we'll be able to challenge and go close. We were very unlucky against France not to take a point, performing very well, and hopefully it's just a case we can get points on the board away in Greece and home to Gibraltar.
Indeed. Actually, I was talking earlier on, I was at the LMA dinner on Tuesday and I was sat next to Stephen Kenny, and he was talking about the real positivity that's sort of sweeping around the Ireland football camp and the team, and the fact that games now are sold out at the Aviva Stadium. There's a lot of encouragement for what's happening right now with Ireland and the football team. Yeah,
exactly. And obviously Stephen has capped a lot of younger players too, and they're obviously starting to perform more so at their clubs. And obviously Evan Ferguson will be the one in particular that's doing it at the higher level in the Premier League. So as long as that continues and they're competitive and playing at their clubs, it'll be a big boost for the Irish team. And as you said, hopefully lots to look forward to.
Yeah. Well, best of luck for those qualifiers. Thanks for being with us, John.
All the best, John.
Brilliant.
Thank you,
no
mate.
worries. Cheers, Natalie. Thanks,
Great to have you with us.
Bye-bye.
John O'Shea there, obviously Manchester United in action, but he's one of the coaches for Stephen Kenny. And their group is tough, I should say, for qualifying for the Euros. It's France, Greece, the Netherlands and Gibraltar as well.
Yeah, tough group. Fingers crossed they get through, though.
Yeah, you never know.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.